So here's what we're doing today. Cabinet to hold all of her tack, her horse stuff, right? All of her bridles and her reins and her lead ropes and her halters and all the stuff. So what we're going to do today is I am going to build some hooks for it, because when we moved this into the barn where she boards her horse, she got into a situation where there was no hooks. We stopped at Jewel on the way to do some stuff, just to grab some command strip hook things, and they suck. And kind of like I was telling you in another video, the commercially available stuff sometimes is a big pain in the rear end. So what we're going to do is we are going to build something. So I'm going to take some 1/4-inch rod, and I am going to cut it, bend it, make some hooks, weld it to a piece of 1/2-inch square tube, drill some holes in it, so she can have some nice hooks in her cabinet to hang up lead ropes, halters, bridles, all that stuff. And she's probably going to be pissed because she said she didn't want any Christmas presents, but nope, she's getting a Christmas present from me, so here we go. Let's start by cutting our hook length. Yeah. What were we talking about before? There's always a way, right? We've got to find a way to bend this rod around a pipe so it's in the nice shape of a hook. Oh, yeah, buddy. We can make that work. Oh, mo better. We'll make that work. Hell yeah. All right. And this is what sucks about moving shops, because I just moved my shop and all of my stuff is in a different place. We got to figure this out. And I know I didn't get rid of it. I've got a tubing holder to put in my bench vise to make this way easier. All right, we're good. We found what we needed. So I'm going to cut 7-inch lengths of this rod, heat them up a little bit, bend them around this socket so we can have a nice hook on one side. Take those hooks and weld them to a couple of lengths of this 1/2-inch square tube so we can mount that in her tack cabinet so she has bigger hooks to hang this kind of stuff on. So here we go. I want to deburr all these. I want to get a little bit of a radius on the end of them so they're not super sharp. Then I'll throw them in a drill chuck and hit them with some emery cloth or some red Scotch-Brite or something, just to clean them up a little bit before we start working on them. All right, guys, keep in mind, I'm just a dude in my garage, right? I don't have a big fab shop at my disposal. I can't afford all the big fancy tools. So here we are. Little piece of 3M Scotch-Brite red cloth. All clean. We'll just do that 10 more times. I don't want to hear nothing from the peanut gallery as to the technique. This is a kid-friendly show. So here's what I'm not so sure about. I have to get a nice big hooked radius on these rods around this socket. So I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to use this clamp to put this pipe in, which is a socket I just happen to have in my toolbox. I'm going to see if I can clamp this on here somehow, put some heat on it, see if I can spin it around. We're going to go for it. Because what do we do when we don't have a solution? We find a solution. And if I can find a solution to this, I think I'll be in pretty good shape. So we're going to give it a shot. What do you say? All right. Found me my vice grips. Now, I think we're going to start in this slot. For the first one, I'll take it. Set that one aside. Go to number 2. So here's the hooks that I've got bent. I've cleaned up that pile right there. They're ready to go. Get those welded on tomorrow. Finish cleaning these up tomorrow. All right, y'all. So here's the deal. These hooks are going to go on the back of this cabinet and on the sides of this cabinet. So there's going to be 3 different hooks that we're going to be making. So I'm going to do the bigger one first, and I'm hoping to get 5 hooks on the biggest one. So if we space these out, I can't remember how big this cabinet is. So I think it's like roughly the size of this. We're going to make it shorter than that so it fits back there so things aren't cluttered. And I think I can fit these hooks, I'm going to say right there, and right there, and right there. And because we have a little bit of OCD, I'm going to guesstimate that and then mark out exactly where they go so they're evenly spaced. Let's start with that. So we're going to call this approximately, let's do 24 inches wide. So we're trying to be better about PPE, so we're actually going to do some safety goggles, some ear pro. Start here. That'll work. All right, let's clean those up on the grinder real quick. We'll get back. All right, here we are. So what I've decided my setup is going to be is my 2 1/2-inch square tube held parallel by a 1-2-3 block clamped into place, so that's solid. Fair? And then what I did is I found in the bottom of my toolbox one of my old welding magnets that I haven't used in forever, but this is going to hold my hook perfectly perpendicular to the 2 1/2-inch square tubes, and it sticks real nice to the top of my awesome welding table setup. I mean, table saw. We'll get there. It's fine. And all I had to do was double check with my square to make sure my hook is perpendicular with my square tube. And I like that setup, so we're going to go with it. We're going to see what happens. All I got to do is make sure as I'm welding, when I throw my tacks on, that I'm holding that J hook nice and tight to my square tube, and I should be good to go. We'll see. I have changed my setup because I'm not convinced that the 1-inch spacing in here was right. I think it looks better with 2-inch spacing now that I kind of put this together. So I'm going to go with 2 inches. And I also held both sides of the 1/2-inch tube stock parallel. They're both clamped in. So we're going to give this a whirl and see what happens. This could be wildly successful or a huge failure, and we're going to figure it out together. Let's see if I can get this off here without breaking it. Ditch that. All right. I ground away some of the garbage tack welds I had on this side. We're going to go ahead and see if we can't put a couple of boogers in there to make this one piece of metal. Sort of. I need it to be hotter. Let's turn that up a little bit. See what this next side gets us. That's more better. I like that. Sort of. Make that a little bit hotter for the next round. All right. So first hook's on. Let's see if we can't set up this second hook. hooks. It ain't perfect, but it's handmade. So, all right, now I got to do that 8 more times. Cool. All right, guys, here's where we're at. I just finished welding all of the hooks on all 3 hook assemblies. Didn't go quite according to plan, but we got it done. All of my square tube is parallel. All of my hooks look to be relatively straight. Some of them were bent to begin with when I originally bent the J hooks. Some of them ended up a little bit crooked, but I think they'll work for a handmade deal. We'll get them sandblasted up, smoothed off. Any splatter that was on there, we'll get off of there. You can see a little bit of splatter and some boogers got put up there, but they're not too terrible. Some of the welds were a little bit cold. Some of them were a little bit hot. But you know what? We got it done. And they ain't going nowhere. They're solid. So we'll get some holes punched in them, get them sandblasted, and we'll see you back here in a minute. My mic died. So we're going to have to raw dog it with no mic, but wanted to touch real quick. I finished sandblasting the first assembly right here. I have a sandblast cabinet. Yes, I do. I bought it for $90. It's a Harbor Freight deal that was new in box from a guy in a parking lot of a Dunkin' Donuts down in West Chicago. It's nothing fancy. I like to sandblast things only because it leaves a little bit of a better surface finish. Can you finish this with just a red scratch pad? Absolutely. Not a big deal. Run a scratch pad over there. Takes a long time. Hurts my fingers. Don't like to do it. Sandblast cabinet works faster, and I think it leaves a little bit of a better finish. You can kind of see, compare these two. You get out of the light here. One that's been sandblasted. Nice finish. Wipe it down. Primer paint. Good to go. This one would take a little bit longer to do by hand, but you can get it done. Not a big deal. I think it reduces some of the file marks, tool marks, scratch marks. I'm just a guy in my garage, no fancy fab shop. But we figure out a way to get it done. And I think these are going to serve a good purpose. They're going to be real super functional. I'm not doing anything fancy like smoothing out the welds or making them super duper pretty, but they'll be nice. They'll work. Got to go run some backpacks around for kids, do the dad thing. Probably got to vacuum my house, like do house stuff. I'm a real guy. This isn't all I do. So, but yeah, we're going to leave it there tonight. We'll bring it back tomorrow and finish up. Take care. Home stretch, y'all. Let's finish this out. So I'm laying down some primer on my hook assemblies in prep for some black Rust-Oleum rattle can paint, semi-gloss black. Usually if I'm doing steel product like this, whether it be table frames or something, especially bigger stuff, I like to do a 2-part paint. It just seems to hold up a little bit better, catalyzed paint. But for something like this, I have to cover every single square inch of my garage. I've got a motorcycle in there. I've got all my tools and stuff. So it just turns into a huge deal just for something small like this. So decided to go the rattle can route this time. Still got a bunch of overspray everywhere. What are you going to do? So finishing this out, looking nice and clean. Can't wait to get them installed. Hopefully I'll get some pics posted up once they're done. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow along for more.